Hey guys, here for insight number 2. So we're in section 78 for this one, verses 17 and 18. This week we're covering sections 77 through 80. So this is number 2. If you want to hear my insight on the first one, go look at that. So this is given March 1, 1832. And this was about trying to really look after all these needy people, and whether they were in need spiritually or in need physically or whatever was going on. There was a lot of people piling in that were joining the church and turning up, and it was like, what kind of, we're feeling a bit like that in New Zealand right now. There's a housing crisis, right? And I think this is worldwide, but with COVID, a lot of Kiwis that were living overseas have come home, and now it's kind of like there's all this need, but what do we do? How do we take care of it? And there's no easy fix. And there's no easy fix here either, but they were trying to do something. So they created what was called the United Firm, which was about, it says in the chapter heading here, about the affairs of the storehouse for the poor, but it was mercantile and publishing establishments originally. So it was about providing for the needy, but also about printing Doctrine and Covenants and printing the Book of Mormon and actually getting stuff out there and promoting missionary work in the church. So it was just about, how do we take care of all this need, all these things, how do we do this? And we've got some of the smartest people that we've got here, and let's work with them. So they created this thing. Now, because they didn't want their names getting out, and it was not a church organization, it was an organization of church members, but it wasn't under the church, right? And that caused a whole lot of confusion and anger and bitterness, which you'll see in upcoming chapters when the whole thing folds and crumbles. And people not being able to differentiate between running like the finances of a business or doing that kind of thing from their testimony of the gospel and church, not being able to separate the two. Now, I worked at the Church Service Centre for some years, about 10, 12 years ago, and you can see the people that worked there were amazing. I love them still, and none of them had the problem, but I could see easily, and I was grateful I was able to work there, to really differentiate between the business of the church, of running it, like the actual, paying the taxes, paying the bills, keeping the lights on kind of stuff, and the gospel, because they are very separate entities, and it has to be run like that. We had to buy cars and write off cars. That's where I was working. Pay the bills for the TV advertising, and oh my gosh, is that a large bill? But it does a lot of good, right? So it's just trying to figure this stuff out and to really pull these things apart. And these people that were in this United Firm and the people that they helped struggled to do that even back then. So that's some little history on it, and you'll see that come up more and more and more. They do banking, and that folds, and it's just part of that time. And a lot of people said about Joseph Smith, well, if he was the prophet, this wouldn't have failed, and we wouldn't be in this problem. And it's like, well, he is the prophet. He's also a man, and it failed because he was trying to help you out, and you never paid him back. So it was just a whole thing. And I could go on for ages about this. So if you want to know more about this, go read about it. Please ask me questions. I'm happy to answer. But let's go to 17 and 18, because we've already garbled for like 4 minutes. 17 and 18 says, Verily, verily, I say unto you, ye are little children, and ye have not as yet understood how great blessings the Lord hath prepared in his own hands and prepared for you. You cannot bear all things now. Nevertheless, be of good cheer, and I will lead you along. The kingdom is yours, and the blessings thereof are yours, and the riches of eternity are yours. So he's saying to them and to us, really, you're still like little children when it comes to understanding the whole entire plan of salvation that we studied last week. And you're trying to understand all of that and how it works and how we work here, how churches, how this all falls together. Your understanding is like this, but that's okay. So when you got all this going on, I'm telling you this is what's going to happen, and you're panicking about, don't. Just be of good cheer, do today, work through today, and improve a little bit every day. That's all I'm asking of you, and everything else will be fine, and all the blessings that we've got. But you don't really comprehend exactly how awesome they're going to be yet, and we don't. We just know that they're going to be awesome, and it's like, what do we do, right? So my question from this is, when have you seen great blessings prepared for you? Because we don't often see them until after the fact. Like, the blessings happen, and then we're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And sometimes we don't see it prepared. Sometimes it just sort of happens. Sometimes we can see it sort of happening, which is pretty cool. I couldn't think of myself of any specific things I could think of about that happened. I've seen some perfect storms sort of come together and know that that's going to be awesome. But yeah, I've seen it happen for other people. I think it's probably easier to observe it for others because we're not in it, But I definitely have blessings that I would never have comprehended until they happened. So, but this section has the word prepare at least 8 times, and 7 of those are in reference to what the Lord was preparing for us, the saints. So one of them was to prepare for us to prepare, and the other was all the stuff that the Lord had prepared for us. And that's pretty cool, right? So this applies to us too. Of course, this is all about learn from looking back, right? We're looking back at history. What can we learn from it? So sometimes we feel so overwhelmed and fragile. We're feeling like it could all come crashing down our life. Like, it's so much going on, and we're just like, oh my gosh, we're just hanging on by this little thread, and anytime the whole lot could just fall around us. And it can get very overwhelming sometimes when all of this is going on. But be of good cheer, he says. Be of good cheer, because I got you. Take comfort that the way forward is prepared for you. He's gone before us and prepared that way. And we're looking at it saying, we just don't see a way through. And there's still things in my life where I look at it and I'm like, I do not see a way through. I trust you, Lord, that you're going to get me through it, but I don't see the way. I'm blind to this journey. Still dealing with my dad's estate. I am blind to that journey. I don't know. I've done all that I can. I'm pretty clear that I have at this point anyway. But I really don't see a way through. But I know the Lord has promised on the other side. I've got that revelation of those promises are going to happen. I don't see the way through. But it's okay, because I can be blind to it and let him lead me through it, because he will lead me through it safely. And that's just, it's a hard thing to get to that point. For me, it was to trust the Lord like that. But it's pretty freeing too, knowing that he's going to take care of it. And actually, I've done all I can do anyway, so what else, But yeah, I've seen these great blessings prepared. Still don't know the way there yet. But it's okay. I'm of good cheer. The Lord will lead me there. Frustrating, yes. Trying, challenging, a lot of those sort of things. But the Lord will lead me through. Now, this is from Elder Uchtdorf, and I love this. He said, a heart filled with gratitude for the blessings of life and an earnest desire to hear and follow the words of counsel will prepare the way for personal revelation. And so if we're wanting those personal revelations like I did with that, and what do I do and how do I do it, right? Or around scripture, like I want personal revelation to do with the scripture. I want answers for what I'm going through. This is all things that we're absolutely encouraged to go ask, do this. But if we go with a heart full of gratitude for the blessings of life and an earnest desire to hear and follow whatever counsel is going to come, then just the way that it prepares the way for our personal revelation to come, it's amazing. So that was from Elder Uchtdorf. So that's from that little bit, and I rambled on a whole lot, so sorry for that. I'll try and make the others shorter, but stick with us because it's going to get even gooder. It's going to get gooder. Okay, see you there.